Hey friend, here's something that's occupied my mind quite a lot lately. Priorities. Hi, I'm Kate Glasheen. I'm a voice and dialect coach with a passion for health and wellness. You can learn more about me at kateglasheen.com, and if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe below. Let's get started. I recently took on a new role at my job, and so now there's a wider variety and greater volume of tasks on my to-do list. As I'm sure is true for you, there's far too much on my list to ever accomplish in one day. So I found myself really having to think about what is most important for me to do now. What are my top priorities? Fun fact, the word priorities, plural, is actually kind of an oxymoron. Up until the 1900s, the word priority was understood as inherently singular. It meant the very first or prior thing, and you could only ever have one priority. It's now widely accepted, of course, to talk about multiple priorities, but what can we learn from exploring the etymology and original meaning of the word? Well, think about it. Even if we accept the plural usage of the word, how helpful is it to have 20 priorities? I'm reminded of something I often say to my actors when I'm coaching them to find the most effective operative words in a sentence. If everything is important, then nothing is important, and the meaning gets lost. Of course, we all have many things that matter to us, but how do we meet all our obligations? How do we nurture all of our relationships? With so much on our plates, how do we know what to focus on, and how do we fight the overwhelm that comes with a huge to-do list of a full life? In my experience, overwhelm sets in when you don't know where to start. Categorizing the tasks on your to-do list can actually be really helpful, and one famous example is Stephen Covey's time management matrix. Covey slots different types of activities and tasks into the 4 quadrants you see here. Essentially, all tasks fall somewhere on this axis of importance and urgency. As you can see, quadrant 1 is both important and urgent, and tasks that fall here might be seen as problems or crises. People who spend most of their time in quadrant 1 are likely to experience a lot of stress and maybe even burnout from managing one crisis after the other. In quadrant 4, we find the opposite. These tasks are neither important nor urgent, but often pleasant and easy, and so it can be very tempting to spend a lot of time in quadrant 4 while other important tasks pile up. Personally, I try to spend most of my time in quadrant 2. My hope is that if I'm diligently working on important tasks well ahead of their deadlines, I'll rarely find myself managing a crisis, and I'll have the time and brain space to pause and handle those urgent or pressing matters when they do pop up. Am I always successful at this? No. Now, the activities in each quadrant will look very different from person to person, and you may choose to only categorize tasks for your job and career goals in this manner. But we all have responsibilities outside of work that also have an impact on our daily priorities. Some of us have children. Some of us volunteer in our local communities. You may be caring for an elderly parent or running for office in your local government. You might be training for a marathon or recovering from an injury, but all of these things take time and energy, no matter how much we want to be doing them. However you choose to categorize your daily tasks, I encourage you to include importance and urgency in the equation. I can tell you from personal experience, it doesn't matter how many things you accomplish in a day if you never make it to that one thing you needed to do to be ready for tomorrow. And remember, the goal here is not to relentlessly increase your productivity with no end in sight, but to handle everything you already do with as little stress and as much enjoyment as possible. And if you do discover somewhere along the way that you've become so efficient you can fit in another hobby or an extra vacation, well, that's a pretty good bonus.